Hello and welcome to my channel that I have dedicated to explain, issues that are quite tricky to understand, especially in our economy concerning investment or, any other issues that people find it, lay people or, even educated people, but they don't have time to search enough. So I try to do a lot of research to come up with some answers that people find it difficult to come by. So if you have followed my channel earlier on, I did a video concerning the MTN IPO when it was, started earlier when it was, going there. The MTN Ghana was selling its IPOs, and I came up to explain that the fact that you were buying an initial public offering from the MTN Ghana did not make you a shareholder. And I try to distinguish between a primary share and secondary share. And I hope that video was educative enough, because I had good feedback from some of you who watched the video, and some of you actually sent me personal messages to ask for further clarification, which I think I did. So this video is to follow up on that video, because now the IPO is over and MTN Ghana is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So there is a bit of confusion as to what is happening now. People who actually were successful in getting some shares from MTN are asking a few questions that I think I need clarification. So I'm coming up with this video to throw a bit of light on what is happening now with regards to the MTN shares. So thankfully, for the shares to be considered successful, at least 10% had to be sold. The total number of shares that were offered was 4,637,394,533 shares. That was the total number of shares that was being offered. And for the shares to be considered successful, it means that 10%, at least 10%, which is 463,739,453 had to be sold. And thankfully, MTN Ghana was able to achieve that target. So the shares, or the IPO, has been considered to be successful. For which reason, MTN Ghana now is listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So to throw a bit further light on the background of this video, or to clarify a bit more, the total number of shares that were sold in monetary terms was $237 million. So that was the total number of money that was acquired from the shares. And in Ghana cedi terms, it was 1,146,589,464.75 Ghana cedis. That was the total number of money that was raised from the shares. So with that, we had a quite encouraging number of Ghanaians participating, and I think the adverts actually went down to people, and people actually patronized with the shares. So about some 127,826 Ghanaians bought shares from MTN, which in total was about 443 million Ghana cedis. And foreigners, so it was very attractive to foreigners as well. Some 326 people, who are not Ghanaians, actually bought shares. And I was curious to find out that this few number of foreigners, that is a 326 people, actually bought 61% of the total number of shares that were sold. So the 127,826 Ghanaians only bought, let's say, 39% or something. So you could see, the foreigners coming with huge investment, and just 326 of them were able to buy 61% of the total number of shares sold. But that is not the reason why we're here. I'm here to throw more light on some of the few questions lingering in the minds of people. So the shares or the IPO was successful, and as I explained earlier, that buying IPO doesn't make you a shareholder. Let's say we have gone past that stage. Now, I mean, the shares were not oversubscribed. They were not oversubscribed. So it means that anybody that made the efforts actually got shares. So assuming they were oversubscribed, then it will come down to, I mean, allocating the shares to some people. And that is where, if you were not lucky, you were not going to get a share. And if you were lucky, then you get some shares. But I mean, because of the, I mean, under subscription, anybody that made an attempt actually got some shares. So it's a good news. And like I encourage my friends and I mean, people all over the world to actually, I mean, patronize if they were interested in buying some shares. I think it's good that if you patronize, you got some shares, because I think everybody that actually patronized, people patronized through banks and through, I mean, MTN mobile money and through different media. And we are happy that, I mean, if you made the effort, at least you now have some shares. So the IPO actually closed 31st of July, and because it was considered as successful, as I explained earlier, MTN Ghana, which is MTNGH, is now listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So if you go to the Ghana Stock Exchange now, you'll find MTN Ghana listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange. So it is no more a primary share now. It is now moved to a secondary one. So now if you want to buy shares, the price is there at the Ghana Stock Exchange. And the good news is that, I mean, a share, as we knew, was going for 75 pesos. I mean, since it was listed, I mean, a day after it was listed, that was the, I think, 5th September, quickly, I mean, the value, I mean, shot up, and I mean, a share was increased to, I think it was increased by 5%. And as I speak now, I mean, the percentage increment on the share is now 6.7%. So it means that if you bought, I mean, some amount of share within the shortest possible period, you're already having 6.7% on your share. Good news, right? And we hope that the price will keep, I mean, going higher and higher, which I will explain in a minute. But we are hoping that, I mean, the price will keep going, I mean, up, and then people can make money out of their investment. So that is a bit of background. So now, if you actually got a share, and that is the main reason why I'm doing this video, if you actually got a share, how do you trade? How do you assess your I mean, the share that is allocated to you? And somebody asked me, that is why I decided to do this video. So if you actually got a share, I'm sure you might have received, I mean, a text message or an email or whatever from MTN Ghana through IC Securities Ghana about the amount of shares that have been allocated to you. And the shares have been allocated to an account called the CSD, that is the Central Security Depository. So this CSD account has been created for you. You didn't create it yourself. It is something that has been created for you. So if you look at it, I mean, it's something that is generated for everyone. And if you got a message, if you got an email, if you got something to show that you got a share, your account is attached to it. But if you purchased your shares through mobile money, I'm not sure you have all the document that was, needed to create this account for you. So what has happened is that your account is, you still have your share, by the way, but your allotted share is being held in a nominee account. A nominee, I don't want to go into details. I mean, it has been, so let me say it has been held in a temporary account that when you provide all the document that is needed, I mean, we have driver licenses, you can use your passport and all that. you go to the MTN, mobile MTN Ghana office, and then they can verify and create a CSD, that is a central security depository account for you, and then your shares will now be transferred into that account. So the question is, can you access this account? Is it like a bank account that you can access? And the answer is no. Currently, it is not possible for you to actually log in with a password or with a code to access this account and trade your shares yourself. Imagine if everyone had access to their shares and can trade on the platform. Then every day you find people asking, I want to sell my share, I want to do this. And then you find people claiming they want to buy, and they might end up even deceiving you, taking your money without even giving you the share and all that. So that is not how it works. When you go to the Ghana Stock Exchange, where MTN Ghana is now listed now, there are brokers. There are licensed dealing members that have been licensed to broker a deal on your behalf. So if you want to sell your shares, if you want to trade your shares, you just have to contact one of these licensed dealing members, and then they can they can trade your shares on your behalf. Or you can contact your bank through which you bought your shares, or you can contact IC Securities, or I know MTN has a facility, and you can also contact them, and they will show you the direction as to how you would trade your shares. So it is not as if once you are allocated or allotted your share, you can just go to you can go on any platform and you start asking people who are willing to. No, there are regulations regarding how you can trade your shares. So this is how far we are now. And the price, yes. So as I said earlier, now a share was going for 75 pesos, and now as I speak, it is going for 80 pesos. So it is an increment of about 6.7%, isn't it? So if you bought a share, then you're making that much profit on your shares, the total number of shares within the shortest possible period, which is not less than 1 month, you're making that money. But the answer or the question is it going to keep increasing? In the short term, that is the way. In the short term, we know that or it is likely that the price per share will keep increasing, because even if you go to the Ghana Stock Exchange as I speak now, you find all the companies that are listed there, and you have them. If you are lazy to click and then pull down menus, just go there and then you see a stream of all the companies just running through your screen, whether you're using mobile phone or you're using a laptop or whatever. You will see a stream of all the companies that are listed running through your screen, and it has two lines. So the top one is actually the current price of whichever company you are looking at, and the down you normally see 00. That is the volume traded per share on a particular day. And it's good news to see that anytime I go to at least the website, I see that MTN Ghana normally has some volume of shares traded. So it means that people are actually still chasing some of the shares, and once there is demand, price might keep going high and high. And that is our hope, and that is the hope of all those who have shares now, so that they can make some money out of their investment. So in the short term, I would say yes, especially within within the next 2 months to 3 months. I expect prices to keep going a bit up and up, so that we are hoping that maybe by the close of the year we are hitting around, or price per share will be hitting around 1 cedi, so that a share that you bought for 75 pesos will be going for 1 cedi, and that would be some huge percentage from your investment. So that is it. with the MTN Ghana shares. I'm sure maybe some of you might have questions, and as usual, you can post them on the under the comment section, and then I will try as much as possible to read them. But the next video that I want to do is about men's gold. A friend asked me to kind of come up with that, but I know exactly what is going on, but I decided not to do that because it's a quite sensitive issue. But what I'm going to do is, now it has been speculated. Now listen very carefully. It has been speculated that men's gold is actually a Ponzi scheme. You understand? Ponzi, named after a popular, businessman called Richard or Charles Ponzi, and that scheme operates, using a particular medium and to do people in a way. So my next video will be explaining what's actually a Ponzi scheme is like, so that people can make their own judgment. I'm not saying men's gold is actually a Ponzi scheme. My next video I will try to explain what a Ponzi scheme is, so you can make your own judgment. But I hope it is not. I hope men's gold is not a Ponzi scheme. That is what people are saying. That is what is being speculated all over. But I hope men's gold is not a Ponzi scheme. But I'll make a short video to try and explain what a Ponzi scheme is, and then we can all follow. And then, in Ghana, some of these things are becoming too much. When I used to be in the University of Ghana, people were coming up at the pyramid scheme, Ponzi scheme, and all these things are kind of tricks that people used to make money out of innocent and unsuspecting customers. So we need to be vigilant and tread cautiously with these kind of schemes. If you have time, you can read about it yourself, but I promise to come up with a video to explain what a Ponzi scheme is, pyramid schemes, and I hope that will throw more light on some of these things. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to coming up your way with another video.